Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Uptown Shadows. Contrary to the information down below, this is not the Pugmire Paws and Claws um, stream, though we can make it such. There are sufficient animals in the households for such a thing to happen. Um, I'm Alan Turner, and welcome back to Uptown Shadows, which is our Hunter the Vigil stream. It's actually a Hunter the Vigil second edition stream. The Hunter the Vigil, its second edition isn't actually out. We just finished a Kickstarter, which got really, really well supported. Thank you to everyone who came out and supported and backed and engaged all the things that we've been doing. This is, however, the finale of this bit of storytelling. I forgot what to call it. Is it a session chronicle? I guess it's a mini chronicle. Um, story. Thank you. The finale of this story, in theory, depending on what our wonderful players do. Um, so speaking of my players, let's go around and have everyone introduce themselves. Give us your name, pronouns, anything special you want to that you're doing, and where you might be found on the interwebs. So let us start with. I've got two different screens to look at here. So let's start with James F.
Hi, I'm James Foster. You can find me on Twitter at Umbervanatier, Umbravenatir, where I talk mostly about video games and politics. You can also find me at mindseyesociety.org, where I'm just a general member, really, but we're a national LARP group that runs World of Darkness and Chronicles of Darkness games, and we are wrapping up a couple of Chronicles this year and starting a few more. We're just starting history games for Changeling the Dreaming, and with social isolation, we are cranking out the Discord games. We have a lot of online options cropping up, and go to our website if you're interested, and we'd be happy to have you.
Awesome. Gabe.
Social distancing, James. Social distancing.
Whatever.
Uh, name's Gabriel D. Los Angeles. I'm Chief Andy D. Los Angeles of the Snow Colony Nation here in Washington State. If I sound rough, it's because I've got a cold, not because of anything else. And we're he, him pronouns. You can find me absolutely nowhere on the internet that's important, unless you really want to go read some papers that I've written about LARP and play. You can totally read some of those. Academy.edu, and you can find me by my name.
Awesome. April. You're
Hello, my
you're
name.
back.
I am back. I am better, but my name's April Songer. I'm mostly just found on Facebook, but with the social distancing and stuff, I am essential. So I'm out there working
Oh
for
man.
people the whole time, and
Yikes.
I'm skeleton crew essential. So I am double working and double working.
Oh my goodness.
I am just around on Facebook and trying to.
Awesome. Mr. Sombrano.
Hi, I'm JF Zambrano. I'm Chiricahua Apache and Quarter Indian, and my pronouns are he, they. I am a writer. I write for Onyx Path, also primarily under the 20th edition line, and also on another White Wolf associated project coming soon. Um, and you can find me on Patreon at JF Zambrano. You can find me on Facebook at the same, where I'll add anyone until you're a jerk and then I'll destroy you ruthlessly. And I'm really excited to murder some bad guys tonight.
Awesome. Amber.
Hi everyone, I'm Amber Lynn. I go by the Rebel Sulky on Twitter and most forms of your social media that you can find me. I use she, her pronouns, and my exciting project, other than being stuck in this house for an unknown foreseeable amount of time, tomorrow night on this very channel around 5 o'clock, 5:30, you'll be able to see me run a campaign of the Scarred Lands.
Woohoo!
Come check me out. It'll be my first solo streamed DMing. Obviously, you guys have probably seen me all over this channel at some point, doing various nefarious things. But yeah, talk to me about like radical queerness, radical kink. Talk to me about gaming. Talk to me about poly. I love politics and being a giant goofball. So get a hold of me on Twitter.
Awesome. Yay! Thank you so much. And again, I'm Alan Turner. I'm your storyteller tonight. A little bit about myself. I'm a whole bunch of things. I'm a writer. I'm a game designer, dancer, performer, storyteller, and I'm a writer on a bunch of different Onyx Path and White Wolf games, Exalted, Scion, and Hunter the Vigil. Yay! I've also got my own tabletop role-playing game out there called Edgegore the Role-Playing Game, which is kind of a post-cataclysmic tribal horror game. It's a high dark fantasy from a Lakota indigenous point of view as opposed to a Eurocentric point of view. And I am here today to take us on the final bits of this wonderful journey through the shadows of Uptown. Where did we leave off last week? Everyone had gathered before what once was the old Holmgren house and is now a set of condos, as I recall. And you were actually going inside and we're looking around and trying to figure out a way to get down below.
Yeah, we had just saved before the final boss fight.
Save.
Shelby was coming in for as reinforcements.
Yes.
The ambulance was pulling up as we faded to black.
Right. Shelby, a lot happened last week.
Did you watch it? You're yourself muted.
Oh. No. Well, many things happened. Primarily for Shelby, however, you spent much of your time over at the First Nation Center, sitting with Marianne, the daughter of John Hart, and family, and helping them kind of work through some various things, preparing for the funeral and wake, and all the things that are happening. Meanwhile, your compatriots had an action-packed bit of investigation, which included Ferdy jumping from an L track onto the back of a building. Harper having a deep engagement with a security guard. Daniel digging through the archives of the Swedish American Heritage Museum, and Leonard doing some deep research to dig up lots of information about the hairy man and associated entities. Does anyone recall any particulars that you think are worth noting before we delve deep in?
You're in the middle of a Scooby-Dooing of our traps right now by making our handmade bells out of chaw tins.
Oh, correct. So one of the things. So could you talk a little bit about that? What did you discover about bells?
We discovered that the piece of cloth that was in the book was actually one of the ankle bracelets of the original sealer of the
Geraldine Holmgren, the owner of the house where the well is.
Yeah. So the well is where all the bad is, oddly, and it's going to be defeated by bells and us.
And cornmeal.
And cornmeal.
And cornmeal.
Yes.
And cornmeal, which we got down the street. That was great.
They didn't have
It's gonna be
Uber.
great.
Yeah, but apparently old Geraldine, back in the day, I have all my extensive notes, was dancing with these bells to appease what she called the dweller, which is what we call the creeper. And he may have caused... the creeper may have caused her son to commit suicide. I think there's a whole bunch of nasty stuff. Um, but we made all these bells with our chauntins and cornmeal and prayers and some ridiculous dice rolling, and we were just about to go into the monster's lair when Shelby showed up.
Okay.
Alright. I will be just finishing my shift, not looking pretty tired, so I will show up in an ambulance.
It's always good to have an ambulance nearby just in case.
Yep.
Other things worth noting are that the what's it called? Outside, even just coming to this area, the general vicinity, there's an overall malaise just on the street. The whole space just feels heavy. The this kind of condo townhomes building, it's basically a duplex style set of townhomes, but it's got two different layers to it. Has been mostly boarded up and walled off. It's around the back of it that it looks like people have been they got through the boarding and got into the place. And I seem to recall that one of the other things that you found out was that there had been a homicide um, inside of this building, down in the basement. There was some altercation between some local gangbangers, and three of them got shot in this space. So, you hadn't actually gone in. You were just outside as Shelby was coming up. So there you stand outside of this building, um, thinking about how best to deal with this hairy man, and make your way down below. What will you do? What do you want to do? And we just lost Gabe.
Maybe checking on his soup. People at home, Gabe is making some soup. Well, in an uncharacteristic bit of behavior, Daniel's going to take out his pistol and double check it, make sure it's loaded, and that it's ready to go.
So, Daniel, you're gonna share with the class as to my next plan of action here. I have no idea what you guys been up to.
It's rain of lead time, sis.
Okay. That's fine.
Birdie, can I say I still have your shotgun?
Yeah, you do. Also, at this point, Birdie removes his very large pistol and hands it to Leo.
I will go
You
back
just
into the ambulance.
hand him out when you're in the.
I will go back to the ambulance and get. Actually, no, I don't probably have that in my ambulance. I do not have it. So I will ask Birdie if he has an extra shotgun I can borrow.
I guess I'll keep your pistol, but then I'll also grab the rifle from the back of my car.
You were traveling with us previously, so we can say you left your shotgun in the.
Or it's in my truck or something.
Yeah,
It's probably
which is
in
here.
your truck because that's where I was
Yeah.
last time. So
Right.
it's probably still.
Yeah, I think Georgie's sitting on it, but give him a treat and he'll get up.
Yeah,
That's fine.
covered in dog hair. Oh, do you know how good this rifle is?
Not as good as my pup.
Seasoning. Just a little pepper seasoning. It's good luck.
So we have two shotguns, a rifle, and two pistols at this
I
point,
also have a rifle.
and a rifle.
I also have a bar for whatever good that's gonna do us right now.
Yay, Kevlar.
Oh, Kevlar is helpful.
Oh yeah, Freddie has that too. He'll probably be pulling out of the back too, also covered in dog hair, just putting it on.
Okay.
But so as Shelby's asking what's going on, Daniel hands her a whole string of bells, our makeshift cans.
They're Copenhagen lids, twisted into bells. One by itself won't make a noise, but you put three on a fishing wire, which he has one of those, they'll jingle together.
So
Okay.
the creeper is a typical demonic entity in that it is scared of ringing bells, at least by all of our research. And there might be some dancing involved. I can't dance, but we'll stick to bells. And we've also covered them in cornmeal. Um, I would suggest if anyone has, a knife or whatever that they've used in a hunt, that maybe they cover that in cornmeal. Um,
All right,
I just
no
use a
problem.
pistol.
I just stab it into like the cornmeal pack.
Is anyone actually taking the cornmeal that you all pounded down with? Because there was a substantial amount of cornmeal.
Yeah.
It
We
was all
should
in
take
bags.
we should take some because our research notes that she would Geraldine would use it as like a warding circle. Maybe we can use it to help protect ourselves. In fact, Daniel starts rubbing some on his Kevlar.
This is
Are
Yeah. I'm actually gonna take out one of my makeup bags
mhm.
and I'm gonna jump and it's ready to rock. And I'm just gonna fill this with cornmeal.
Okay.
Maybelline, huh?
Ipsy.
My eyes are going.
can I dip the clip in there? I'm gonna dip the clip.
Well, that's probably not a good idea because it'll make the clip jam.
Oh
It'll be
well,
fun.
all right.
Cut.
Firearms one for a reason.
Yes. Okay, so we've got various bits of armor, various packets of cornmeal, various firearms, any melee weapons to speak of.
I just have my Bowie.
Okay.
No melee, but I do have my medicine pack.
Oh, I also have my police club.
Okay. A medicine
cover
pack.
that. Cover that.
Oh,
cornmeal.
no, medicine pack. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna cover my crowbar in cornmeal as well.
Birdie just stares like you're doing that.
Yes.
Hold up the original piece of leather.
What?
Cousin, you dance?
I I've done it before. I wouldn't say that I was the star of the show.
All right.
I think Daniel should be consider being one of the dancers. He's clearly offering. Look at that face. That face is the face of a
Jingle
dancer.
it at Daniel.
I mean, I never.
The guy is on American's Got Talent. I don't think he's actually gonna care how good we are at this.
He might.
Put the pants on.
Bernie, you
Interesting.
got this then.
All right, I'll dance.
You got it. All right.
I know it.
You made bells. You're gonna be dancing.
I know a dance.
Look, I'm gonna bring my camera with me like we over at Powwow anyway.
What?
Okay.
You know a dance.
All right. So
It seems like Birdie maybe shouldn't be the one dancing because he's the guy with the big guns.
I can shoot and dance at the same time.
This is you continuing to offer yourself up to dance. This sounds like.
You can ski and shoot at the same time. Why can't you dance and shoot?
I said I could.
I can't
Yeah.
ski.
Wait, who was skiing and shooting at the same? No, you know what? It's
Meanwhile,
telling the story later.
back over here.
Let's.
Are there any other precautions that people wish to take before you engage?
Check all of my devices to make sure that all are 100% powered.
I'm gonna pour a little bit of this cornmeal on Georgie.
Good idea.
I'll let it eat some too.
Oh, are you bringing Georgie down with?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
If I'm gonna die, Georgie's gonna die with me.
So, the building. As I said before, the building itself is a large, multi-story, kind of a condo townhouse kind of space. Is a new construction, but sadly has been boarded up because they haven't been able to keep people inside the building. The front doors, front windows, all that's boarded up, but it's around the back that someone has worked their way past the boards, and there is a window that you can crawl into that will give access to the building.
We need to go into the building? I thought we were just going into a well. That was
Well, no, remember that the well has been paved over.
We gotta get in the basement. Is there actually an outside basement entrance? Like, you know what I mean? Like the.
No, it's inside.
Can I get Philip, my AI, to do a quick bit of blueprint grab?
Oh,
I've got investigation building blueprints
you could.
coming into use.
Let us have. Does Philip have any skills?
I don't think so.
You built
No,
him.
it's just a flat dice. Roll
Okay,
double the.
the dots.
Yeah.
How many dots do you have in Philip?
2 dots.
2 dots. Okay. Well then, give me a check for Philip.
Tight.
It's not hard. Bless you. It's not hard to.
Just Philip's dots, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Onyx Dice Path. Thanks, Onyx Path Publishing.
Does that app let you use hunger dice from Vampire Fifth Edition?
Not yet, I don't think.
Okay.
They happen to be
Use 4
working on an
dice?
update.
With 0 successes.
0 successes.
Oh no.
Philip.
It is going to take a little while for Philip to pull up the schematics on this building.
That's fine. We'll go without.
So who's the first in, or how do you approach the process of getting in? The window is broken.
Oh.
Someone's there was, like I said, there was like there was boarding covering it. Someone's ripped the boarding away and they've smashed the actual glass window.
But the window's still closed?
But the window itself is still closed.
I'm gonna reach in and see if I can't just open it instead of having to go through a bunch of broken glass.
Oh sure, reach around. It takes a little bit, just because it's been a little bit weathered, but you're able to tug and pull and shift, and eventually you're able to open up the window.
All right. Okay, none of you are going in, so I guess it's me.
So you're actually crawling into one of the units. You met.
So,
What's that?
if it's dark, I will shine a light.
Yes,
so he's not blinded.
it is dark. It is dark. It is nighttime.
Okay, I'll shine my flashlight in so when he gets in, it's just he doesn't step into whatever.
Okay. So as you go in with a little bit of light coming from Shelby's flashlight, you're met with lots of old dust and silt. The place is massively dusty. There's just that kind of old mildew mold smell. The window's probably been open long enough that some rainwater and dampness has got into the place. The rug on the floor kind of has a sticky, squelchy quality to it. Beyond that, it's a pretty evenly laid out space. Yeah, from where you're coming in, which looks like it's a sitting room of some sort. You're able to see out and into the hallway that leads to the main doors. There is, you presume, a shared basement here, so you probably have to go outside of this apartment or this condo and into the main waiting area, and then find the path down into the basement from there.
So what I'm actually gonna do is out in that main area you said where I could see like the front door.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go open the front door so like no one else has to crawl through the window. And also I'm gonna be like, Georgie.
Okay. Do you let the rest of the group know you're doing this?
I mean, yeah, I'm whistling at the front door, so I'm hoping you might.
Because everyone else is at the back.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I tell them what I'm doing. Come around front.
Right.
Just to note that I've got my DSLR camera with night vision.
Okay.
on me, so if anything pops up in the night vision part because it's dark.
Duly noted. Night vision is helpful. Be mindful of the fact that the night vision doesn't mix well with big flashlights. So the camera's likely to be blinded every now and then as lights start flashing all over the place. But Freddie opens the front door for everyone. Not difficult to do, and we all come in. And again, like I said, there's the place is overwhelming with dust and old mildew smells. Now it's just an issue of finding the door down. Oh, the other thing that's in here, like I said before, there are people. Apparently, people have been coming into this place for a while. So here and there, you see bits of graffiti. There's some old beer bottles and various alcohol bottles scattered through the hallways here and there. Um, a couple beds, or rather mattresses, laying here and there. But it looks like whatever vandalism that was going on primarily happened inside the unit and not in this main hallway.
The stories that we heard about this place were only people fleeing from it, or just general unease in here. No one's disappeared, right?
Um, well, within this place, no one has disappeared. There are plenty of missing peoples in the general area. So, what next? You dig, looking around. So there is as you come to that front door, there is a place where normally a guard would sit. Um, there are some short elevators, rather, since the elevators only go up about 3 stories, off in one hallway, and then there towards the far back of that same elevator hallway, there's a door that is marked stairs.
Well, I think it's safe to say that the elevator isn't working, so down we go.
All right.
Taking point, cousin.
Yeah, you know it.
I'll just be back here with my camera and make sure that I get this all up.
Can I actually real quick?
Sure.
One of the watchers is telling me that most of us are really hard to hear except for Alan.
Oh, weird. Let me see if I can fix that.
I turned up my mic all the way, so I don't know if I can do anything on my end.
Let me add another source and see. Hopefully, it doesn't give us an echo. It's so weird because it's the same as the setup I had last week. Let us output capture. Put in speakers. And transition. Now talk.
Yeah, I mean, I won't really know if there's a difference.
Yeah.
So mostly it sounded like you were really loud, so I don't really know if there's a difference until
we talk.
yeah, until I get more, because to me everyone sounds equal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't know until, like, this person is messaging me privately, so
Okay.
I was gonna, if when they let me know if there's a difference, I'll let you know.
Sure. It'll be a couple minutes before they hear.
Yeah, we're a little delayed.
Testing, testing. How do we sound?
Oh, you're really loud. I can see it.
Hello.
Let's try that now. Speak again.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, how do we sound?
Hello.
Hello.
Any feedback?
I haven't heard any feedback.
Okay.
No feedback.
I'll know soon.
According to the visual that I have now.
Oh, so it fixed.
It fixed? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yay. So, just about to go down. And is there an order that people are going down?
Yeah. They want the brown guy going first, so I'm down.
And last.
Well, exactly. First and last get picked off first. You know how it goes.
And in between? So I got
I'll follow Ferdy.
Is that Freddie and Georgie?
Yeah, Ferdy and Georgie. Georgie's right by my side.
And Leonard.
Georgie knows what's up. Georgie's been trained.
Shelby.
Georgie's a monster hunter.
And then Dan and Harper.
I guess, I mean, if you're handling the camera, Leo, I guess I'll take point and back. Right? Do you want me to go behind you?
In front.
In front of, are you sure? Who's gonna watch your 9? Or your 6? Your 14? Whatever number it is.
Uh,
Good lord.
I got this. It's fine. I got this. What do you?
Okay.
What, I can look at a camera and pay attention to behind me. I've got this.
He could dance and shoot at the same time, sis.
Okay, if you got this, you got this. So I guess I'll go second last.
Okay, Harper, and that puts Dan squarely in the middle. So be it. And you
As
descend.
I was
What's
gonna say, as I start down the stairs, I kind of turn around and look at the four of them, and I'm like, any of y'all shoot me in the back, it's gonna be a problem. Keep going down.
And you descend. It gets darker. There's no secondary light from the street lights or anything else as you go into this stairwell. The only light that you have is the light coming from any flashlights and and any kind of secondary lights that are part of your camera routines and phones and watches and whatnot. So you descend. Only thing that you're aware of as you go down the stairwell is the sound of your own footsteps echoing on the metal stairs. Um, it it goes down one flight and comes to what appears to be a laundry room. There are laundry machines everywhere. There's also, as you come off of this stairwell and turn around and look behind you, there are laundry machines off on one side, and then to the other side, there's lots of small little lockers and boxes where storage units where people store their stuff. Again, this whole space has been obviously used by people coming into the building. The ground in front of you appears to be concrete, and there are places, there's remainders of police hazard tape and places where they have marked off the areas where bodies were found,
Like chalk on the floor? Or?
like chalk and tape.
Okay.
And then lastly, there's dark splotches all on the concrete. Could be mud, could be blood. It's kind of hard to tell in the darkness down here. There's definitely a smell, a dank, kind of old water, kind of almost a sewer smell down in this space.
So Georgie is specifically trained as a corpse sniffing dog.
Oh.
So I'm gonna give Georgie the command to see if he can sniff around for anything like that. Obviously, in the middle of the room, there were corpses here, but I'm kind of trying to see if there's anywhere else in the room Georgie might be interested in.
Oh, sure. So Georgie sniffs around. This isn't a hard task for him at all. Pushing past the old smell of where the bodies were, he gets to the far back near where the washing machines kind of begin, and there is a drainage area, and he stops and whines a bit and makes some sounds around that drainage area.
Good.
So I'm gonna see if I can pull that. I'm assuming there's a grate over it,
Yes,
right? Like
yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can pull that grate out.
Here you go, take a look. It is a big grate. It's almost a pretty standard sewer grate. There is stuff all over it. Again, in the darkness, it looks like almost like seaweed and moss, and it's black and
hair?
stringy everywhere.
Yeah.
It looks like hair, but it's all clumped and wet and twisted around.
What does it look like in the night vision?
In the night vision, it's just a mass of gray. It doesn't really. It's not really much. There's not very much you can differentiate between it and the grate and the floor. It doesn't stand out like as being colder. Is it heat vision, night vision, or just this?
No, just regular old.
Just regular. Yeah, it's just. It just looks like old, stringy material. It could be hair. It could be thread.
I'll take a few pictures of him moving stuff around.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna start pulling it out.
Yeah, it's also wet.
Yeah, gross. But remember, I find corpses, so
Yeah.
I'll start pulling it out.
So you extract this junk, and it gives you a better view of the overall grate, this big sewer cover, and you can see that this is a multi-layered thing. At least it was at one point. There is a kind of a cistern type concrete surrounding, and looks like someone pulled the top level off of it, where there had been like a concrete covering, and replaced it with this metal grate. So someone actually made this. This has all been one piece, and they replaced that one piece with
Okay.
this grate. As you're leaning over it, that odor of old, dank, sewery water just comes wafting up. It's so bad that it kind of makes your eyes burn. It's really hard to work over it.
I take my hat off and hold it over my face.
Okay. So the top of the grate is the grate itself is pretty heavy. It's going to take a little effort to pry it and pull it up. So what we're looking at is a strength plus athletics.
Oh, good. Any one of you want to try this instead of me?
Like an aid.
Let me peek. I don't think my strength is gonna. No, it's not. I have athletics.
I got 2 holdouts to offer you.
All decks, no flex.
All right.
I have
let's
a
make this
5
happen.
in this. If
Hey,
that's
you
as
want
good.
to grab the other end of this and help me out?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I only have 4 dice on this one.
So what does this mean? Is it Shelby and Ferdy?
Shelby's
Yep.
gonna assist, and then I'll roll
I
with
will
whatever.
assist.
I will look around and keep vision on everything coming at us.
I will hand Daniel my flashlight so he can flash it on the grate. All right, here we go.
Weapons out.
All right.
1 success to
All right.
add.
All
Sorry,
right.
it's not much.
It's all good.
You know, it's really hard to get a grip on it because it's all so slimy and old.
Yeah.
I got 3.
You got 3. That's
Yeah.
does that include the?
That's with the +1 die.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good enough. It takes a little bit of work in between the two of you. You're gonna have to twist it a little bit and pull and then push and twist and pull and push. And eventually, you find just the right combination that causes it to release, and you're able to pull up this really heavy piece of metal and slide it to the side, being careful to watch your fingers in the process. And now what you see is a hole. There is a set of there's a ladder just about a foot or 2 just below the lip.
Okay.
Anybody bring any glow sticks?
Wouldn't there be some in the emergency pack?
Glow sticks.
Like the big ones for like when you have when you're out like
of a flat.
but like yeah. Like a not
Oh.
clear, but they're like
I
big.
mean, if we're asking questions, nobody brought any glow sticks.
we didn't
So,
bring them.
I got a lighter. Why don't you grab up some of the lint out of these dryers?
Oh,
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
wrangle up some of the lint.
sure. I'll allow that. Pull
I'll
some
light it
out,
and
light it,
Toss
drop
it.
it down.
toss it down there. It falls far. It actually flares up a little bit as it goes down, and then it looks like it goes about maybe 15 feet,
Okay.
maybe slightly more.
All right. Well, if I'm
Ooh, scared me.
he was
Georgie,
not
calm
happy
down,
about
Georgie.
Georgie, it's fine. You can wait up here, babe. Good boy. Sweet boy.
Building the tension.
So yeah, he's not happy. He heard whatever he's not happy about that hole. No,
Mm-mm.
no, ma'am. I'm assuming we're going down here, yes? I'm going to insist on going last because we know that she used the cornmeal for warding, right? Would it be prudent to because I have this big old sack of it with me, would it be prudent to maybe, as we're going down, leave a circle of cornmeal? No?
To stop something
Do
from
what you
coming
need,
in.
sis. I'm gonna start
I mean-
crawling down.
I don't know if it would stop something from coming up. I don't necessarily think I have a good feel of how this actually worked based off of what she wrote in her journal, but it couldn't help. It couldn't hurt, right?
Well, I mean, how much cornmeal you got?
Probably enough to make a circle and then have at least 3/4 of the bag left.
You never poured a salt circle before then, huh?
I have. I was just prudent salt circles. They worked. They worked. I'm here, and it's proof that they worked.
All right, legit. You want to pour a salt circle to keep something from coming out? That's good. It's a pertinent piece for in case we fail. Let's not fail.
Let's not fail. And if it doesn't work, we won't be around to know anyways. So,
right.
All right.
Good attitude, I say as I'm going down.
I've been hanging out with you for too long.
So Ferdy begins to descend. Ferdy,
Yeah.
all I need from you is a simple dexterity plus athletics check.
Ooh, dexterity.
What are you doing about Georgie?
I'm gonna have him jump as soon as I'm down there. I'll catch him.
15 feet?
Yeah, 15 feet's a long way.
Yeah, well, this is a well-trained dog who can jump way more than 15 feet. I've seen him scale a 20-foot wall. And also, I'm going to catch him.
All right.
You need to trust in my dog. If you don't trust in your dog, who's got your back?
I got moved to aid.
Not Danny. I got one success.
One success.
Oh wait, hold on. It was a 10. I get another roll down the die.
Okay.
Still one.
Okay. So it is a little bit tricky. This metal ladder is old, is slippery, is a little rusty. Some of the rungs actually turn a little bit as you go down. But you manage after a little bit of effort to get to the bottom. But it's kind of a hair-raising experience. You definitely feel like it's not safe.
It's rough. And come on, boy.
Everybody is going to have to do the same thing who intends to go down, and that is a dexterity plus athletics roll, unless you've got something better. Did you call Georgie down?
Yeah.
Same thing for Georgie. It should be relatively easy for you to catch him with a dexterity plus athletics.
Georgie got more successes than me.
And then so next we have Shelby.
Yep. 3 successes.
3.
Yep.
Shelby is used to moving around these kind of slippery places covered with blood and mire and goo, and with very little effort she just shimmies down, even slides the last couple feet, jumps off. We've got 2 from Harper.
Yep, 3.
3 from Harper. Dan?
3.
3.
Excuse me.
Leonard?
A sweet 1 success.
It's a little shaky there for a moment because you've got all that equipment. You're trying to come down. You're trying to maintain a good shot with your camera as you come down.
Of course.
Trying not to drop anything. But before not too long, everyone is down below, and below looks like some sort of a piece of a sewer system. And it's interesting. There's sewer that goes off in either direction. Hasn't been maintained very much, so there's muck and mire kind of sucking at your shoes where you stand. But just off by where you came down, there's a little bit of an alcove, and it continues to go down even further. There's yet another passageway that goes down, but this one looks, as opposed to the rest of the sewer that has concrete and brick around it, and has obviously been made relatively recently. This is a circular shaft filled with bricks. It definitely looks like you're looking at the remains of an old well shaft, and it goes down even deeper.
Anything come up on the night vision?
Oh, it's a good question. you look around. Um, this whole area is super, super, super dark. Um, as you scan around in your night vision, you're just looking at shafts. Rather, you're looking at sections of wall. There's lots of pipe, um, but there are splotches of mm, masses of that dark, furry, hairy stuff all over.
Watch out there. Watch out there. Everybody, watch out over that
There's
way.
there's some hanging from pipes, and it's interesting because this the sewer area you're in kind of goes off. It goes off in three other directions, not counting the alcove that holds the remainder of the well.
Don't let it get in your eyes.
Is all of it wet too, like the other stuff was
Yeah,
above?
this whole area is wet and slick. There's
Okay.
yeah, there's that, and then there's also patches of strange fungi, big kind of light grayish stuff, the kind of things you typically would find um, in a sewer, right? You get lots
Okay.
of um, offal that comes through the area. Some of it sticks, fungus grows off of it.
So I'm still like my "Make America Native Again" hat over my face, rifle over my shoulder,
Yes,
like starting to make my way down this. How did you describe it? A catacomb or an alcove?
it's kind of an alcove. So if you imagine there is just a long tunnel, the just to the side of the tunnel there's like and if you're looking at this like um, an underground rail area or underground sewer, there's a place where workers would have kind of
Yeah.
stopped while things pass by. It's that kind of thing where they've actively made an alcove to identify where this spot is at.
Okay.
And other interesting things. Oh, and then there's also a rolled up um, rope, rather chain and metal bar ladder that has been attached to the wall that that can be dropped down into that hole.
Whew,
So
man.
so,
All right.
so obviously this whatever that space is, it was made before all of this other more maintained stuff was made, and so someone apparently made a ladder to be able to maintain that as well.
Well, I'll go ahead and try and lower it and see if it looks sturdy.
Oh, sorry, one more thing before you do that. Like I said, it goes off in three other directions. You note in your night vision, Gabriel, that in those other three directions, the cord goes off to a certain extent and then stops. It looks like there's relatively newer walling, like someone's actually walled off these sections of the sewer. So whatever water is getting in is kind of coming in, seeping in through these bricked off areas.
Not from down below, or not from an aquifer,
No,
or
there might be an aquifer, but you can't see it because there's these bricks in the way. So this area has been sealed off.
it's definitely ominous. We good?
How sturdy are these bricks?
That's a good question. You can go and check them out.
Yeah, I will.
Why, you trying to escape, bruh?
I just want to know what we're dealing with.
For the most part, they're pretty solid. Except it's been down here a while, so you feel like maybe a really good hit with some crowbars or a lot of, enough force when it could push your way through and break through the wall. Not like in one fell swoop. You'll probably have to take a few chops at it.
Well, good thing Sis over here brought a crowbar.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
let's try to lower this ladder.
All right.
Go back, lower the ladder.
I want to make sure it's sturdy.
So the well opening is actually bigger than the initial hole that you came down. So that's nice. It's a little easier to maneuver going down that chain. It feels pretty sturdy. It has been bolted into the wall in multiple places. Whoever set this up was pretty made certain that this thing wouldn't come apart while they were
Okay.
going down.
All right. Well, let's do it.
And down you go. So the bit of ladder that you've unrolled is about 25 feet long.
Oh man.
So you go down quite a ways. You go past work stuff, and then you come out. And it's interesting as you're going down, there's the tightness of the passageway around you, but you are aware before any light shines down there that it opens up after a bit.
Like a breeze, like kind of a
Yeah,
you
the
can feel
air
it.
and just the
Yeah.
sound of the space where there's like the sound of standing waves bouncing back and forth inside of this tunnel as you're going down. But when the tunnel opens up, the sound reverberates a bit more. You are now in a
Natural?
chamber. You won't know until you get down there. So let's make with those rolls again.
Same roll.
Yet again, same roll. Athletics and dexterity.
I got one success again.
Okay. So
2.
it's difficult. So let's do people one at a time. So you're two at the end there, Leonard. We've got not Shelby. Ferdy first. Ferdy, you get down as you a little bit after that the point where it opens up. What makes it hard for you is that the rope actually the ladder actually gets kind of shaky and swayy as you get down to the more open area. But eventually you hit the ground below. You can feel it with your feet. There's like a 3-foot drop from the ladder to
Sure.
the ground. But you drop and you land in mud
How
and
deep?
stuff almost knee deep.
Oh wow.
But it kind of catches you and stabilizes you. So if you had been moving with any speed though, this is the space where you feel like maybe you could slip and fall and
Yeah.
get dragged down into this stuff very easily.
I'm gonna command Georgie to stay
Okay.
because his butt is so deep. But I'm
Okay.
gonna hold the ladder still for whoever comes down next.
Okay. Following Ferdy is Shelby.
Is just one success.
Okay, same. It's a daring, harrowing experience, but you get down into the muck and mire. It's kind of gross. The smell of the sewer down here is actually slightly less than it was when you're up in the actual sewer. So there's that. But there's a heavy, wet, earthy smell down here that is equally overwhelming to the senses. Next is Dan.
One success.
Okay.
Excuse me, one success.
Same for Dan. There's a little bit of a struggle. You get down, and Laura Harper.
Oh. I had 1 success and 2 explosions.
Oh, okay, not a problem. So, you get down again. This is a bit of trouble for everybody, but everyone is at this point is able to get down into this chamber down below. And what you see, Leonard, once you look around with your camera, is an unworked, kind of a natural cavern. There are areas of striation along the wall where apparently the water levels go up and down in here. You're looking down at the ground beneath you. There is a layer of thick mud and peat, and then there's like a very thin layer of water sitting on top of that. As you look about, there are multiple different passageways, or not really corridors. They're just kind of cave passageways that go off in different directions. You count 8.
Point all that information out to the team.
And this is an interesting place because of the mud and the moss and stuff that's on the walls. It actually kind of swallows your sound up a little bit. There is a little bit of an echo, but it's one of those kind of things where once your voice gets out, it reverberates in the different passageways. So it's actually kind of hard to tell where the origin of a given sound is once it leaves your mouth.
I'll put my hat back on. I'm going to pull a bandana out of my pocket and wrap it around my face. I probably have one more that I just hold out to whoever wants to grab it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, who knows what kind of mold or mildew is in the area. It's definitely not
It's not pleasant.
not pleasant.
What time of year is it? I can't remember if we
Winter.
ever established. Okay, so I just wrapped my scarf around my face.
Okay.
Dan is a dapper Dan.
Dapper Danny boy.
Let me see here. Things worth noting. Wits plus investigation for Leonard.
One moment.
And they call
Building-
out Leonard because you're the only one that you're the only person right now who has something that gives you any kind of distance vision.
Does building blueprints help me out here?
You didn't get the blueprints though.
No. The skill, the skill specialty.
No, but if you had like some kind of spelunking or caving specialties, that would be of use.
All right, wits plus investigation. That's a whole 4.
Okay, well, it's not a problem. You're you're moving back and forth with the camera, looking down the different passageways, and one of them seems to have. Well, first off, these passageways, from what the camera can see, they go off and then they break off into other sub passages.
Okay.
But there's one that has a slight. There's a slight glow and illumination. There's a bit of an ambient light that is almost invisible to a human eye, but stands out in the night vision of the camera.
All right. One success as well.
Okay.
There's light that way. Does it look like there's hair in there?
There's bits of growth coming down from the ground and all over. Some of that is roots. Some of it's who knows what it is. Until you go and actually investigate it, it's hard to tell what you're looking at.
Well, as soon as Leo says there's light down that way, Ferdy's going to start walking that way.
Okay.
Let's check it out.
So you all slosh and kind of trudge through this mire, and eventually, let me get my eventually you come to a chamber there's yet another set of cross sections. There are tunnels going off in all directions around it. It is dank and twisty. The tunnels that go off are all twisting in different directions. But this tunnel has what looks like there's a passageway that seems to twist off and go down, and it looks like someone's actually kind of hewn some kind of stairs out of it.
It's a hell of a well.
Does it look like natural tools or like claws that did it?
It depends what you mean by natural tools. It looks like something someone would have done with, chisel and hammer at best, maybe other pieces of rock. There might be some natural layering of rock in there as well. In any case, the whole passageway as it goes down is also covered in the mud and the mire. So navigating these long stairs is going to be a bit of it's a bit of a hazard. So you're going to have to make yet another athletics and dexterity roll to make your way down if you opt to go that way. Otherwise, there are 4 other passageways that go off ahead of you, 2 to your right and 1 to your left, not counting the one that you came in on.
Any of them giving off further light or any other clues in the night vision?
Um, Not so much. As you get in the area, you see bits and pieces of it again, looking through the camera, and some of it looks like it's coming from some kind of moss or fungus that is um, kind of growing amongst the junk that's on the walls. But there's much more of it as you look down where those stairs are at.
So I'm going to be a little creative with this merit I've got, and it's whether or not this works is entirely up to you.
Sure.
But I'm going to pull a Gandalf in the Mines of Moria and see what my gut feeling tells me about the options ahead of us. Like, kind of looking at them, looking at the way that the tunnels are made, and kind of seeing if there are any see if there's anything that I was going to say my elf eyes, but that's the wrong Lord of the Rings character. Just kind of poke around and do my occult investigator shtick and see if there's an obvious choice or if they're all basically the same.
Sure.
I will aid by examining the moss specifically as a conservationist.
Okay.
Ooh. Hmm.
So, then let's get an aid from Leonard that is investigation and intelligence.
If I may,
Mm-hmm.
while Leonard is rolling, did Dan use, I don't know if anyone else is going to get this reference, did Dan use his stanky old wizard eyes?
I'm not sure I get the
Yeah,
reference.
the reference
now.
is beyond my ken.
I think it's Adventure Time. I'm not sure.
Oh, Adventure Time.
That explains why Gay was laughing so hard.
I like watching shows, and I got a whole 0 successes to aid. So clearly, I was just farting around looking at how cool the glow was on the moss.
How did you do on
Okay.
the?
So 0 from Gabe, so that gives me 9 dice, unless my cryptid specialty applies.
There's your cryptid specialty apply in this.
Oh yeah, do I get
yeah,
an
you
extra
know what?
dice for sworn?
No, not for sworn. Your cryptid stuff, I'll allow that.
Cool.
Thinking about stories of old troglodytes and such.
Sandworms. Graboids.
3 successes.
Okay,
Watch out for the mass
not a
blast.
problem. So, things that stand out to you. Actually, what were you looking for first again?
I was kind of trying to figure out which way forward was the best way, based on my
Oh, your gut.
gut feeling, my little weird sense of where the strange things are, the occults.
Yeah.
The
So-
merit basically says, if you're faced with a strange situation, you can kind of get a bonus to investigating it, or
Right.
what have you.
So your gut's been telling you all kinds of things since you got down here. I mean, the first thing your gut's been telling you is get the hell out.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's been as you've gone deeper and deeper, there's been a twisty feeling in your gut about this whole situation. Temporarily, it was distracted by just the pure interesting nature of the environment you're in, and what information can be gleaned from digging around in it. But that twisty feeling as you go by the stairs, it gets even deeper. It gets even more intensified. So there's whatever is you're here to do, your gut says you shouldn't be going down deeper to do it because that's just a terrible place to go. But you probably need to go there. other things that you pick up off of your skill rolls is that the compared to all the other um, overgrowth and mud and mire that's all in all these other places, there's considerably less of it on this stairwell or this stair passage. The stairs themselves, even though it looks like they have been carved out, they're also kind of worn and smoothed. So something this just could be a function of erosion from water and things flowing through here. Um, but this definitely feels like this section has gotten used more than the rest of the passageways in front of you.
Okay. So Dan's kind of looking around, and once in a while he'll pull out his little, flashlight, look at something, and he's like, I really think that the stairs are the way to go.
Oh, there's one more gut
Oh.
thing. Sorry.
Okay.
As I mentioned earlier, there's evidence of like rising and lowering water levels down here. You kind of have an idea of where you are, and that you realize that you're not too far from the lake.
Okay.
And some of that rising and lowering could coincide with the tides over by the lake. Remember, Lake Michigan is basically an inland sea.
Okay.
So there's a lot of water that can come in here as the tide comes up, and the tide isn't up yet, but this could get dangerous fast.
Do we have cell reception?
No, you do not. You have no reception at all.
Okay, I didn't think so. I
Let me
forgot my
just roll
satellite
out
phone.
my app that I keep track. As a conservationist, would I not have tide knowledge?
Oh, you would.
All right. Then eidetic memory and tide knowledge and of a conservationist. Do I know when the tide is coming up and what time it is?
You feel like you probably have actually. How about an intelligence and academics roll for me?
Will research associate also add to it?
Yes, it will.
And science?
Yes, it will.
Okay. I get a whole 7 out of that one. Boop. Come on. Oh, 4 successes.
4 successes. Oh yeah, you've got a couple hours before it comes in, and from the look of things, there's probably some kind of lip somewhere, and the distance that the water has to get to a certain level before it comes into this space, which means when it does come, it's going to just flood.
All right. You guys remember that Indiana Jones movie where they had to run from water? That's
gonna-
going to be us in 2 hours.
I'm gonna pull out a cigarette,
So
which I've had this whole time.
The one with the snake or the one with
Oh.
the snake?
Conservation knowledge, by the way,
The
also
heart
tells
grabby
you
one.
there's plenty of methane down here. It's probably not a good idea to be lighting up.
What are you
Alright.
doing, bro? There's peat moss over there. It's gonna methane
I'm gonna-
out like crazy.
I'm gonna put the
need to
cigarette in
blow
my
this up.
mouth, and then stop. I'm gonna stare at Leo for a second.
peat moss.
Then I'm gonna look at Shelby, nod towards the stairs, and start going towards them.
Okay.
okay.
I was about to say.
Nope, we're doing this. I'll follow.
I don't know how you guys managed to get to the bottom of a well and still spend more time studying the moss on the walls. Start heading down the stairs.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm taking
I'll
pictures.
follow.
I'm a conservationist. What are you doing to me? This is my job.
Ferdinand, I'm not going to look good with gray hair, and I do not have the time to be dyeing it.
Leo, you stay here and collect the moss you need for your lab or whatever. I'm gonna go shoot this monster.
All
See ya.
right.
See you when I get back.
I'll be back.
Yeah,
Don't like
I am joining Furry.
following
As
him.
as those last words come from Ferdy,
Oh no. Last words, huh?
there is a sound that rolls through the area. It's hard to tell where it comes from,
Yep.
but it sounds like a raspy sigh, for lack of any other description.
The creeper.
They're bored of us already because we're taking too long. They sighing at us now.
Ferdy
I
also sighs.
I
and then
honestly wouldn't
continues.
be disappointed in them if they did it. I'm just saying.
All right, let's move.
So down you go. So the footing is treacherous. So yet again, please give me an athletics plus dexterity roll.
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry. I was just laughing at chat.
I just said the footing is treacherous, so I'll need another athletics plus dexterity roll from people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Same marching order, right?
Yes. 2. Okay.
5.
At this point, just let me know if you get no successes.
Okay.
1.
Well, Shelby exceptionally successful.
Yeah, I exceptionally succeeded for reasons I don't know how. I got 3 tips.
It's because you wore your Doc Martens with the treads on them.
Yeah. Docs for the dog.
1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this isn't your first rodeo. You're all old hats at this stuff. You do your best to secure each other and make your way down this long, sloping, kind of almost a spiral, curving set of stairs, and eventually it takes you into yet another chamber. This one is not as large as the one you just came from, and this chamber, something immediately catches your eye as you come to it. And that is, this whole area is covered in moss. It's almost kind of blinding to your camera, Leonard.
Oh.
That there is a great amount of ambient light bouncing around down here. The whole area is kind of covered in a slight greenish tint, like firefly light everywhere.
Any scuff marks on the floor or anything that?
There's only mud and all kinds of peat and remains everywhere.
Okay.
You're back again to the stuff that sucks at your feet. You're about knee deep in this mess. However, with all of this moss that is all in the walls everywhere, there is a pool. There's an obvious pool of water in the center of the space, and opposite from where you've come down, there is an interesting bare patch of wall. It's stone, where none of the moss. Actually, that's not true. None of the glowing moss is around. What moss is near it and what roots are near it have dried and become blackened. And there is what appears to be an obvious crack in the wall. It's like a little crevasse, but it goes into the wall as opposed to going down. A person could probably squeeze in through there. But what's more interesting is that there is a stench that wafts out of that hole, and as you get closer, as you come down closer into this chamber, you've got more of those sighs. And not only are there sighs, there's like a sense of what sounds like very, very distant moans and voices that are kind of unintelligible at this point, and they're all kind of coming out of that hole. And anybody who's got any kind of gut feeling, your guts are saying, "Get the hell out now." It is unsettling on a very deep and primal level.
I don't have a gut feeling. So I would like to go to the hole and shine the light in.
So
I'll cover her.
So getting to the hole is again, as I said before, this whole area is treacherous. There is this area of this pool that's in the middle. You have to kind of walk along the outer edge, of feeling along the wall to get over to that section.
Okay.
And so yeah, just give me an athletics and dexterity to move over there.
One success.
Okay. You all have been living on the edge tonight. You skirt around where it looks like other people have like taken out weapons and are aiming. I saw a motion from Ferdy over there. You get to the hole. It actually, even if you don't have a gut feeling, it actually kind of turns your stomach as you get closer to this thing. The hairs on your back are standing up. It smells terrible, like just death and death and death. And you shine your light down. Your light hits the darkness and just kind of gets swallowed up by it. It's like the darkness itself is like living
Yeah.
stuff.
It's just like the light cuts off.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't
Okay.
really cut off as much as it just kind of dissolves into the darkness. It goes maybe 5 feet and then gets overwhelmed. Nothing.
Alan,
Yeah.
I purposefully turn on my digital voice recorder program on my phone.
Okay. Recorder turned on.
Hmm
I do have a question about the moans. Is it
Yes.
like, does it seem like it's coming from people?
It seems like it's coming from something. Maybe
Like,
human-like. You know, if it sounds like people, it sounds like not people. It
Like,
sounds
I
it
just
sounds
wanna
terrible.
know-
You should go home.
all right, I just want to know if it's like people crying out in pain, like that kind of moan.
There is a feeling of anguish. There's definitely an empathetic swell that comes that hits you, and it feels like it's not so much something you hear as something you feel, and it feels like anguish and anger and loneliness and all these things, all these very heavy emotions.
I just look back to the group. So what do you? The light is just dies. It dies in darkness. What do you? Am I gonna kick the stone or?
No.
Okay, it's fine. It just something is miserable.
Yes.
Hey, who's down there?
Wait, no, we have instructions.
There,
we have been gifted with instructions from the book.
Book.
Oh, I didn't realize we were following instructions.
Where are our bells? Now do we make our circle?
I already had the bells on.
Oh.
Ding,
All
ding,
right.
ding,
Well,
ding.
then it's
Danny here got bells on his
Is
gun.
this dry? Is this dry area? Can we put
Yeah,
down
the
our
bells on my gun.
our-
Ding, 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 ding.
who else goes over by where the hole is at?
Well, I've been behind Shelby with my rifle.
Okay, so I need you to make a dexterity athletics roll for me.
I did when you asked Shelby originally. I got
Okay.
3 successes.
Okay, no problem. So you're over there. Who's got a cult that's over there?
I think
Oh, well,
That's
I do. Let me check.
I do not have a cold.
Okay.
I'm looking. I think I have at least one.
I have not currently gone over there. If someone asked me.
Yeah,
to
I've got
go
one.
in.
I've got one occult.
Okay. You got one occult. If you could make it a wits plus occult check for me.
Do I get a?
Oh, sorry, intelligence plus occults.
Oh no. Do I get a?
No.
do I get a sworn bonus on this one?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
that helps. Actually, can I risk a willpower?
Go for it. We have the risking willpower rules posted.
Remember, you can only do that once a scene, though.
I'm
So-
doing it for this one. I can shoot guns fine. I'm not that smart.
So add +3 and 9 again. Those
Ooh,
are the
this is
two
pretty good.
best.
This is pretty good. I got 3 successes on
3
my
successes.
dice pool of 3 before willpower.
Oh man, you're looking at this. All kinds of stories start rolling through your head. You remember various tales of people from the Southwest talking about emergent stories. There's all kinds of stories about Machu Picchu in the amongst the folks in the around the Great Lakes. You're looking at an opening to the underworld.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna look back. No, actually, no. I'm looking forward because I'm facing Shelby. Shelby, are you still looking down there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna like tap you on the shoulder,
Yeah,
and
what's up?
I'm gonna lean real close, and I'm gonna whisper. But Furry's bad at whispering, so I'm gonna say, "That's a doorway to death, sis. Let's go."
I'm going to look
No!
really. I'm gonna look really embarrassed. Because I was really about to try to shove my foot through this thing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. Let's that way it is.
Okay, so Mr. Gut Feeling, could you from there, from where you stand, give me an occults plus intelligence roll?
Sure. Does folklore apply?
Yeah, folklore will apply here.
Does the cryptid spec apply still?
Not just folklore.
Okay.
Like you need more dice.
That's true. Danny is made for one thing.
Is it being team mom? Because I think you're the team mom.
I'm first of all rude. 3 successes.
3 successes. Enhanced by your own gut feeling. You have, especially being a Thule advocate, y'all have done a lot of research on underworld shit and things that come out of there and going in and out of there and the secret portals, and there's all these old bits from old Nazi tomes and all that stuff. I mean, this research goes far back into and among terrible people. But there's one common theme. Jumping into the underworld is typically a really bad idea.
Yeah.
It's often a one-way trip. And what you're looking at is something that you've read about, but actually haven't ever really seen. And this is a naturally occurring opening.
Just because I'm a Geist fanatic,
Mhm.
do I know the word cenote? Cenote.
Sure.
Cenote.
Cenotea. Thank you. Yeah. So let's move away from the hole to the underworld. You're not coming back from that, guys. Danny's just like, please come back to me.
What do you mean? There's lots of stories about coming back.
How much cornmeal we got?
Not according to my research. That's a literal, natural cenote to the
How much of your research is indigenous? You come back.
A couple of quarts.
Would we be able to wall off the door to the Devil's Gate? Can we close off the supernatural Devil's Gate, please?
Is there you do some investigating around the door? Maybe you can sort that out.
Oh, all right.
I don't know if the supplies or not, but
Mhm.
can I use? Oh, that probably doesn't.
Wait, so there's moss in the underworld? Like that's. I'm sorry. Why is there moss here if this is a gate to the underworld?
Well, there's moss in the cavern.
Yeah, no, I'm ICly asking this with my cult 0.
Well, you know, down in Mexico, the gates to the underworld are big, deep lakes, and they're surrounded by plants. So why not?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
This is kind of like a lake.
I mean,
That's fair.
We're all wet, right?
Yeah.
We got 2 more hours before the lake comes here.
Yeah.
Harper, you had a question.
Yeah, I think I answered my own question though. I was going to ask Because if like in regards to like hidden meanings, I don't think we can use that as an applicable role for any of this, right?
Hidden meanings. Elaborate for me.
I answered it myself. I can't actually find it under the merits at the moment, but it's a subterfuge, so I don't think it actually has anything to do with what we're doing right now.
Okay. Oh,
I
right.
answered my own
That's like
question.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
That's more of a subterfuge.
yeah. It's not going to have anything to do. I was hoping to maybe figure out if the cornmeal is going to be enough, or like if it'll affect anything based off of the surroundings. But it's not going to help me.
So,
So
Gabe,
what happens? Oh, sorry.
Go for it. Sorry, Shelby.
What happens when the river floods into that thing?
We drown?
Like, does it just?
Like when the water hits the underworld?
Yeah.
Same
Is
thing that
something
happens to
gonna
everything
come
else.
out?
Well,
Or-
most myths of the underworld, there's water down there.
That makes sense.
Right, like the cenotes in Mexico.
Yeah.
I like Shelby's questions. Like, hey, and then you give her an answer, and she's like, "Yeah, that makes sense."
Hey, this is new territory.
So, who's still
take
looking
so
down
many
the hole
pictures.
at this point?
I still got my rifle. I'm still holding my rifle and waiting.
Okay,
I haven't stopped doing that.
but
I've not gotten any closer.
you have not gotten any closer.
I
Shelby
zoom
is right
in.
in front of the hole. Yes,
It is like
looking
Yeah,
down with
I
a
am.
flashlight.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
But
From-
could we move away from the
As
hole?
you're asking these questions, Shelby, you could
Yes.
swear
Yes.
you see motion in the darkness.
Nope. I just I just step away from the door. So what's behind that? That would be moving because there is something moving. Is that what we're trying to shoot? Do we need to shoot this door or do we wait for it?
Hold
to
your light.
Okay.
A lot of talking. Just hold the light.
I'm taking a lot of pictures. Do I see anything in night vision?
In night vision, you see a black wall of blackness in that spot.
Oh shit! And I like take a step back.
So it doesn't even register really on you. It's like it's not even there.
So
There's nothingness.
I just hold the light to the and I just like I turn back and I'm just like, do you see the things moving in there? Is that what we're going for? Is this a creeper?
Ferdy is
That
for
doesn't look
once
like a creeper.
dead silent. just aiming and waiting.
So
I start ringing the bell.
you ring the bell. The walls shake. There is a loud groan, and it seems to come from all around you, but definitely coming out of the hole. And the shape that you're looking at, Shelby,
Yeah.
it becomes more solid,
Whoops.
but does not. It steps forward from the darkness, and you're looking at this big mass. It's almost a humanoid mass, and it
Mhm.
comes to it just kind of comes out of the water like someone emerging from. Sorry, it comes out of the darkness like someone emerging from dark mud. But you can't really see any detail on it. And it doesn't come any further than the lip of the hole. It just stands there. And it's huge. It fills up most of this hole.
Click, click, click,
You get a sinking feeling in your stomach,
click,
and you can feel it looking at you.
click, click.
And then there are voices. Deep, resounding, reverberating voices that seem to bubble forth from the hole, but it's coming out in a language you've never heard. Or languages you've never heard.
I check to see if my digital recorder's still on.
Your recorder is still on. as the voice begins, it continues, bits and pieces of things become intelligible. It's almost like you're hearing so many voices in so many languages, and then the languages you least understand are fading into the background, and the ones that you do begin to coalesce.
Any of it sound indigenous?
Oh yeah,
Well, it's the ones we understand, right? So maybe
yeah.
Leo and I
You're picking up.
pick up on our own nation's languages or something.
You pick up your own nation's language. You pick up on some Potawatomi, some Anishinaabe, um, but then everybody else, whatever languages you speak, you're starting to hear bits of that. And eventually it settles into a, do you come to recognize? What offering do you bring?
I just look
It
back
just-
to the bell ringer, hoping he's just ringing that bell. I assume that's.
Oh,
the
you're
plan.
still ringing the bell.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it also
maybe I stopped, but I start up again.
And it also calls out for you to stop that intolerable sound.
Eidetic memory?
You have my attention. We see you. Have you come to serve?
That's
Well,
now.
we ain't much of the servant type, but what kind of offer are you looking for there, mister?
It just stares at you. You feel it staring. You don't even see eyes.
What is feeling it staring feel
Feeling
like?
at it stares as if you've ever had that feeling where someone is looking at you, and you turn around to see. I'm sure the ladies in the room are familiar with this.
Mm-hmm.
That is a feeling.
Unkampf.
You are under scrutiny.
Alan, I'm trying to remember if there was anything in any of the books that we've gone over from John Hart's stuff about offerings.
That's a good question. So
Eidetic memory.
you start going through your awesome memory. Could you just make a quick
Was there a rule on how to do
I
that?
don't know. Well, let's wing
Intelligence plus composure.
Yeah.
Plus
Wait.
2 for eidetic.
Okay.
Go for it. Intelligence plus composure.
And then plus 2 for eidetic.
That's interesting. I've never seen it use two attributes.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And I'm assuming Leo is probably the closest one to me, so I'm just going to lean in and say, like, just give me the word. I'm going to hit this thing with a face full of cornmeal and hope to God it does something.
Okay, dice. And then character sheet.
Because I can't reasonably hold a gun and the cornmeal at the same time. I'm going to choose the cornmeal at this moment.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 8. Oh, will sworn hit?
Yes.
9. Research associate, will that help?
Sure.
10. Indigenous supernatural?
Yes.
Wow.
11.
All your specialties align.
Can I help him with investigative aid?
Sure. You've looked at some of the books?
Yeah. Investigative aid and occult.
Yes.
Okay, here's my eidetic roll.
Wait for Laura. I keep saying Laura. You know why? Because I know a Laura Harper. That's what it is.
Oh.
Harper. Go for it.
Ooh. Okay, so that was 2 successes.
2. Okay. Now over to you. What's your name? Leonard?
Yeah. Do you want me to roll again? Because
Yes.
I like the 5 successes in front of me.
Oh, okay. Keep your roll. Sure. So the two of you get to whispering as you're hearing the things that are coming through, and there are some things that you kind of glossed over that are they're like, wait, there's a um, there's some commentary from John Hart about it being one of the hidden. There's a couple points where he mentions the hidden, and you thought it was just kind of reference to like something that's hidden away, but you recall that it's all it's capitalized. That there and there are a couple other places where he may mention to wanting their tribute, wanting their offerings, but it's not anything good. Their offerings basically are lives and suffering and such sundry things.
Okay.
You guys
Sacrifice.
let us know.
Yeah. So we're not here to offer you any lives or suffering. Hey, Ferdy, you ready to dance?
I shoot.
You shoot.
Ferdinand.
He told me to dance. We're dancing.
You
That's
shoot.
not the-
Give me a firearms, dexterity and firearms, and then we'll start initiative because things are
Do
about to
I-
get interesting.
So I've been aiming this whole time. Do I get any kind of bonus for that?
You didn't call out an aim maneuver, but there is an aim maneuver.
Well, I mean, I've been saying that I've just been holding it and waiting this whole time, right?
Right.
I didn't know
Aim
about the
is
maneuver.
plus 1 dice per turn. You started
So-
the aim action.
Oh.
We'll call it
2
2 turns.
Okay.
Yeah, it caps out at 3 anyway, unless you have marksmanship
Yeah, and then it caps out at your composure.
plus your firearms.
Yes.
Marksmanship is kind of ridiculous.
Wow.
Well,
That's
it's the
why
sni-
rifle.
yeah, it's the sniping merit.
Yeah.
Well, if we keep playing, maybe, but
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Later.
Later.
so this is also I'm a cop, so this is my professional skill, so I get
Mhm.
9 against, right?
Okay.
Oot.
Meanwhile, in the background, oh goodness gracious. Okay. Boom. The sound of the shotgun fills the room.
No, it's a rifle.
Oh,
but
rifle.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's still loud.
The sound of the rifle fills the room.
Was that?
Yes.
Sorry. Oh, was that with your bonus damage for the
Oh,
rifle?
so it adds 4, right? So it's actually 11.
11.
Yeah, 11.
Damn.
The bullet hits the darkness, and the darkness ripples. But there is little effect other than the sound behind you. Who's in the back of by the stairs?
Me.
Who said me?
Daniel. Daniel
Okay,
is.
Daniel.
He didn't go anywhere near that door to death.
Daniel, there is a sloshing, rasping sound quickly making its way down the stairs.
Nice.
As you looking back, there is just this mound of hair pouring, shifting, crawling down like a mass of. You ever see a house centipede?
Yes.
Just like a killer mustache moving. That's what you see.
House centipedes.
It moves along the walls,
Oh.
around the ceiling, onto the stairs, and then just kind of drops into a heap, and then coalesces and forms a relatively humanoid form.
Don't offend house centipedes like this. I like house centipedes.
So, despite the
Well.
fact that Danny is a very nervous, quiet dude and very much a nerd, he is a fairly experienced hunter. So, as soon as he hears and sees this, he's just gonna shout out, "Ambush!" And I mean, I guess then it's initiative time.
It is initiative time. All right, so A bunch of things are rolling through people's heads as we roll initiative, and I will go through both these things. So the first thing is wits plus composure. It's dexterity and stealth to see how surprised people are. That's right. Okay. So everyone roll wits plus composure and is opposed by my dexterity plus stealth.
I have a question about
Yes.
the way guns affect initiative. The negative, is that to your roll for initiative, or is it to the total you get for initiative?
That's to your pool.
Okay.
So how many successes do I? Oh my goodness.
Do I get a bonus because I was at the stairs, or?
I will give you a bonus because of your gut feeling.
Okay.
You get 1. Let's see, 4, 6. Oh, y'all are some alert folks. 2.
Fortunately.
So luckily for you, this thing has to make so much noise moving through all of the muck and mire that it was almost impossible for it to surprise you.
Yay!
It only had a single success. So now we do actual initiative, and that is a single die roll plus your dexterity and your composure. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. So it does subtract from the actual total.
Oh, the negative is subtracted from the total?
Yeah.
Should I redo it, or?
No, just well, you only get to roll 1 die, so everyone has to redo it anyhow. So you roll 1 die.
Okay.
Add your add your dexterity bonus and your composure bonus, or your composure dots. So for instance,
so roll 1, add dex plus composure,
yes.
and then take the negative from your weapon.
Yes.
Oh wait.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you add anything like fast reflexes. I know Harper has fast reflexes. I'm not sure if anyone else does.
16.
11.
Dexterity and composure.
Do we so when rolling the single die, do we re-roll 10s?
I believe so.
Yeah.
You can explode.
That's so funny. I'm looking for my bag of dice, and I have my iPad in front of me.
Does initiative explode?
It changes per system. I actually have.
For your own sake, let's allow it to do so for now.
Okay.
And we'll figure it out later.
Yeah,
Why can't I get? Oh, I see. So. Initiatives.
So even though I do have a shotgun, I'm not actually wielding it right now because I'm still holding the bag of cornmeal. So I do not subtract my weapon at the moment?
No, do not. You're not actively using the weapon.
Okay, so adding everything together, rolling the dice, it exploded. So I have, which is a 10 again. So I'm at 11.
Okay. Harper is at 11. What else do we have?
I have 10.
12.
16.
14.
10, 12. Who said 16?
Me.
Shelby.
Shelby.
And Dan is... What'd you have, Dan?
Oh, 14.
14. All right. So, Shelby goes first. You hear a sound from Daniel, and then this terrible noise coming down the stairs as you whip around and see this thing manifest.
I am going to get my shotgun on me. I'm dropping the flashlight because I'll need both hands, and I am going to shoot the thing.
So you're gonna pull out your shotgun.
Yep.
Okay.
The shotgun
what
and
is
light at the same time?
What is the shotgun modifier?
Dex plus firearms.
No, I meant the initiative modifier on the shotgun.
-1, I believe.
Oh,
Negative 4.
-4. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. So you're so you
So I'll go down to 12.
you go down to 12. You pull it
Yes.
around, and you're readying it, bringing it to bear. Meanwhile, this thing just explodes all over Daniel.
No.
Daniel, from where you are, it's just tendrils of hair start reaching out, trying to wrap around you, trying to engulf you.
Nice.
My defense is. I hope I get my defense.
You do.
5.
Is there initiative modifier
is.
for bell ringing?
No, there's not an initiative modifier for bell ringing. What's your defense? 5?
5.
You are a slippery person.
Yay.
You the tendrils lash out everywhere. You duck and roll. You get yourself covered in muck and mire, but you manage to dance out of this thing's embrace, which enrages it even more. It seems like there is a. It doesn't seem to be something that is making any kind of thinking strategy. It just seems to be lashing out,
Okay.
almost animalistic like. Could I get from you an occult and wits roll? And yes, your cryptid stuff does apply.
Woo! Wow. 0 dice.
Oh,
0
okay.
successes.
You are scared as hell. You have no time to think.
Yep.
It misses you. We go on to, but it is actually your action now. 14.
Yep. So Danny jumps out of the way, kind of fall. He probably doesn't jump like gracefully as much as he kind of falls backwards a bit to dodge out of the way, and he's still got his pistol in his hand.
Okay.
So he's just like fuck, and he, pulls the trigger.
You pull the trigger.
So let's see. I actually have a specialization in pistols. I'm using a light pistol, so there's no penalty or anything to using it. And
Dexterity plus firearms.
Yep. With 9 again. Oh, wait. Can I risk willpower?
You have not risked this scene yet, so go for it.
Sweet. Which actually brings me up to an 8 again. Three successes.
3.
Plus 1 for the pistol, so 4 damage.
You unload into it bits and pieces of hair. You're not quite sure how much of this thing's integrity you can affect with your bullets, but it seems to have some sort of effect at least. It recoils back from your shots. That's on 14, 12. You have Leonard and Shelby.
Did we all have bells?
Yeah, I had plenty to make.
Yeah, as I
so-
recall, everyone was given bells.
Okay, but and then Ferdy has the bells on the original strap.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I just pull out the bells from my pocket and start ringing them.
Okay. You pull out the bells. I need you to do for me.
And dancing the best I can remember how to dance.
Not a problem. Give me composure plus occult.
I could do that. Anything but add into it?
No.
Sworn?
No,
Oh
no
yeah,
sworn?
your sworn applies.
Indigenous supernatural?
Yes.
Okay. So you said composure plus occult.
And this is a resistant roll.
Okay, 7. Boop.
8, 1, 2.
2
Wow.
successes.
This thing is not having a good day. So you begin ringing the bells and doing your dance, kicking mud and and nasty stuff everywhere as you do so. The thing, it was sending out tendrils of hair and getting bigger and bigger, and for a moment, it seems to quell that urge, and the thing kind of just stops.
Nice.
It just sits there. It looks like it's struggling, but it seems like it's being held in a held fast where it's at. Shelby,
Is talking a free action?
yes,
Is there such thing as? Oh.
yes, instant actions.
All right. Ferdy, throw me the bells.
You had a shotgun, Shelby.
Do I know not to shoot the thing if it stops
No,
in our directions?
you've heard no such thing.
Okay.
Pew pew.
Blast away.
Yep. I will risk a willpower using my union benefit to make it an
Okay.
8 again.
Okay.
So 5 successes. And then 4 lethal from shotgun.
And how many? What is the dice? How many successes does the shotgun add for its damage?
It adds the 4, so.
So 4 altogether? 5 altogether?
9 altogether.
9 altogether. Oh my goodness. Boom! This time there is a booming sound that fills up the entire area. Your ears are under assault as Shelby just spins around, brings her shotgun level, and blasts the thing. It explodes in bits. Hair flies everywhere.
Ugh.
Poor Daniel.
Settles into the muck and mire, and you can see the hair begin to squirm and begin to recoalesce slowly.
I'm sorry.
But whatever this thing was that came down, you've just blown it to bits, literally.
I keep ringing my bell.
You keep ringing the bell. While you are ringing the bell, it does seem like it is these remains are just kind of in a tizzy. They can't quite seem to figure out how to come together. 12, 11 is Harper. What are you doing, ma'am?
I think I'm going to go with my first inclination, and I'm going to grab a handful of the cornmeal, and I'm going to toss it at the hairy bits.
At the hairy bits?
At the hairy bits.
Give me a throne. This stuff is a little hard to throw, so take off a die. But it's dexterity plus thrown unless you have something else you want to add to that.
I have a proficiency in throws.
In throws?
In throws.
Then that applies.
Okay.
Yay, athletics.
It also helps that, like, now since you've been down here for a little bit, the dampness in the air is actually kind of making the cornmeal clump up, so you're able to get a nice big glob of it.
Got 3.
3. So it hits some of the hair, and the whole area where the hair is at begins to sizzle and burn.
That's what I like to hear.
But there is so much more of it, and even as that bit is beginning to sizzle and burn, who's by the hole? That would be Ferdy and Shelby.
Shelby and Ferdy, yeah.
There is small bits of it are coming out at the bottom of the hole, streaming into the water, as though it's actually feeding in and restructuring this creature.
Okay.
So that was on 12. 11 is Harper was 11. Now we're down to Ferdy.
Is it like my whole action to toss my leather thing with the bells towards Leo, or can I do that in something else?
What's the other thing you're thinking about doing?
I want to. How close am I to Harper?
As I understand it, two of you are on one side of the pool, and the rest of you are over by the stairs.
So Harper's pretty far.
It's at least 15 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess what I'm gonna give you a string of things I'd like to do, and we'll see if it works or not.
Okay.
I want to toss the thing to Leo. I want to go over to Harper and just grab a fistful of that corn millet she's carrying around. I also want to like shout up the stairs for Georgie.
For Georgie. Georgie's
Yeah, I know he's
at the top of the hole. Yeah.
I know he's pretty far, but if you
Okay.
That's
can't
a
hear, it's fine.
25-foot drop.
Is he going to be able to make it through all that muck?
There's I don't know, but like we're in trouble, and that's what
Okay.
he's for.
All right. So at best, right now, you'll be able to give the stuff to Leonard and close distance with Harper.
Okay.
Can
Can I shout too, since like
you can
talking's a
shout
free
too?
action?
Talking is free, so you can shout for Georgie.
Okay.
You are going to need a dexterity plus
Sure.
athletics to cross over to Harper.
So, oh shoot, because I wouldn't know that he'd be coming at me for the cornmeal, would I?
No.
Unless he said something. Because I was going to see if I could offer an assist by tossing the bag to him, but I don't know if that would count as a move. But I don't know what the hell you're doing anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, how
So-
much
so
can I
th-
say? Can I
so-
be like, Georgie, get down here? I need some of that cornmeal. And one
Yeah,
turn.
so you can do both those things. However, this is right after Harper has done the toss, so
Yeah.
you won't have time to turn around.
Okay.
It's game time.
Yeah.
Well, I got 3 successes anyway, so
Three
I'm
successes.
okay.
All right. You slide on over. You call for the for your buddy, and what were you giving to Leonard?
I was tossing I have the original leather strap with the new bells on it,
No.
and I was
Oh, right,
tossing
right.
it to Leo.
So the only catch with that strap is that is an ankle strap, and your ankles are under muck and junk.
I know, but I was wearing it on my wrist.
Oh, okay. No
Because
problem.
I'm irreverent, I guess.
So it's not a problem. You're easily able to pass this on to Leonard, close over to Harper, and get some cornmeal from her. And is that the bottom of the list?
I think I was the slowest one, unless
Yeah, you
you
are.
missed somebody.
It is so back to the top. Well, Shelby's now at 12. So it's the thing, the hairy man. From the hole, there is it's almost like the hole vomits black strands into the water. And the whole area, all the waters, all the muck, all the mire that you're in, suddenly fills up with this stuff. It's like there's a horde of worms all around you, but those worms are hair and strands of unknown bits and pieces, and they're all streaming towards the spot where this thing discorporated. And that is the action at this point. We come back down to Dan.
Can I get another chance at that occult roll that you were?
Oh, sure. You're kind of watching all this stuff. You're going back and forth. All kinds of stuff is running back and forth through your head.
That's wits occult, right? So that's
Yes.
6.
Shower drain clogs. Yes.
1 success.
One success. That's actually all you needed, sir. Again, this is all coming from your training with the Thule Society. Your experience with spirits. Whatever the thing is that you all are throwing down with, it's definitely being fueled by that hole back there. It's this is a manifestation of something bigger that is in that hole.
Um,
The creature in front of you isn't a hairy man. It's the manifestation of the hairy man. The hairy man, or whatever it is the thing in the hole.
um, would it take another roll to determine whether or not uh, how big is the hole again? Sorry.
At this point, it's about man-sized.
Okay.
But
Um,
which you
At
can
this
tell
point.
at this point,
yeah.
it looks like the hole has been getting bigger over time.
Okay. How big were the bags of cornmeal that we got? Were they like pound bags?
Yes.
Okay. So my intent was to bring at least one of those with me when we said that we were bringing some, because Daniel has like a little backpack or whatever. Is that enough cornmeal to surround the hole?
Don't know. You can try.
Okay. Uh,
Wall of Force cornmeal.
I think that's what Danny. Because I mean, I saw the cornmeal hurt the thing. Guns hurt the thing a bit. The bell is working, so we don't need another bell ringer. Ferdinand is gonna get more cornmeal, so we got 2 cornmeal throwers, a shotgun, and a bell ringer. So Danny's like, I think I need to make a barrier around the hole because it doesn't look like there's any easy way to close it
Okay.
in the room.
That's
Or
what you can
did
see.
you know that we can see? Okay.
It's wet.
So what?
It's wet.
I mean, we still just like clumps of cornmeal. It should work, right? I don't know. Does this seem like a good plan? Should I roll again?
What happened?
Just cross your fingers and go to town.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
So what are you actually going to do? What's the action you wish to take?
So the idea is to use from all of my occult training to try to use the cornmeal to make like start a barrier where it's streaming out and just like go around it as possible. Because I've got at least one of those bags.
Right. So I'm going to help you out here because you've got
Okay.
a gut feeling.
Yay!
And your gut feeling suggests to you that maybe you need to just circumscribe cornmeal around the hole.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll start doing that then.
But it means you have to get to the hole.
Oh, right. Says Dex Athletics.
So Death of Athletics. As you scuttle forth, skirting around the pool.
Three successes.
Oh,
Are you gonna vocalize any of this?
Oh yeah, Dan will be like, ward the hole. And he's gonna pull out the bag of cornmeal and run at and slide down the muck towards the gate to the underworld start dumping the cornmeal in a line.
it is amazing how much dexterity you get when you get fear and adrenaline running through your body.
True.
You slip and slide past your friends, and you get over to the hole and begin doing your thing. So,
Okay.
Covering the entire hole, or surrounding the hole with a sign by yourself, is going to take 10. Let me get over here. Let me find my list. It's 10 successes, and it has to be a clean line. So this is going to be a dexterity plus occult, as you're basically making a magic circle around this thing. Anyone who wants to help you can help you with this process. Each roll is a turn.
Okay.
And that's what. So make your first roll. Actually, no, don't make your first roll. You close this round. This turn. Next turn, you can begin making rolls.
Okay. Cool.
Um,
I wish I had saved that wrist willpower.
so that's 14. The 12s. That's Leonard and Shelby. What are you doing?
I'm ringing for all that I'm worth right now.
You're ringing?
I'm
He's
ringing
ringing.
bells for all
Ringing
that I'm
bells. So
worth.
And dancing.
So you just have to maintain the energy that you're putting forth while you're ringing the bells. So it's the same roll over again.
Which was
Composure and occult.
composure, occult. Oh yeah, that was 7, and then plus sworn plus indigenous.
Ooh, that's a little better.
Oh man, 2 successes. That's a lot of ones.
So the bits are starting to congeal. You're in this
Plus
basically
the
this
power of the original strap.
not yet.
Yeah.
But the two of you are in some kind of energetic struggle right now. This thing is trying its best, and you're doing your dance, and you're doing your and you're ringing those bells as hard as you can, and you're at best holding it at bay right now.
I'm starting to sing. Then I'm gonna start singing.
Okay, next turn. So Shelby.
I am not going to help with the ward as I will only detract from that.
Okay,
Uh,
you're just getting away. You know it.
but I am going to take a held action to attack the first thing that shoot the first thing that attacks Daniel while he is attempting to do his thing.
The first thing that attacks Daniel. Okay, so you're watching over Daniel, and
Yeah,
okay, not a
because he is near the hole, so I will shoot the thing that comes out.
Okay, you do that. You do that just fine. Ooh, that's gonna be interesting.
I love it when a GM says it's gonna be interesting.
Harper.
I don't. You're
off.
muted. You're muted.
I realized that as I started prattling, because I get a message. It's like you're still muted, stupid.
It says
So
that?
I'm assuming Ferdy already got to me, grabbed a handful out of my makeup bag. I guess I'm just going to continue as this stuff is like still doing its weird thing. I'm gonna just throw more cornmeal at it.
Okay. You keep you keep cornmeal chucking. Go for it. Give me another chuck.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Three, 4, 5.
5. Oh, I forgot this. Just defense on this. You are. Oh, there's still one. You are still tossing. The whole area continues to bubble. But what's interesting is, as I said earlier, this stuff was starting to congeal as it's pushing against Gabriel, against Leonard's chanting and bells. What had begun to congeal desolidifies once your cornmeal hits it.
Cool.
So you break it back down into an unsolid state, and we come back around to Ferdy.
Okay, so do you want me to do I have to do another dex roll to get back to the door?
Yes.
So I'm gonna do that, but also like my plan is to I guess also be working on creating the seal with the cornmeal I just took from Harper.
So you're gonna close and assist then.
You want me to assist or
Well, it's up to
do
you
it
two.
separate?
Well, I guess the way this works is one roll ultimately solves the whole problem, and the assist will give additional
Okay.
dice to the person rolling.
Can I do both those rolls this turn, or
Yes.
should I? Or okay, let me do the dexterity roll first.
Because you're still considerably closer to the hole than Dan was when he started.
Okay, I got 2 successes on the dexterity one.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's the roll to do the circle?
It's dexterity plus occult.
Okay. The sworn bonus?
Yes.
Wow. I got 4 successes, so +4 to your roll.
Okay, so remember that, Dan, when your turn comes around. And back at the top, it's chaos down here. There's bubbling water, there's hissing and boiling. Um, Harper's chucking cornmeal in like she's trying to make soup. Um, Leonard's jangling bells and dancing in the mud.
And
You've
singing.
got and now singing. You've got Dan and Ferdy trying to make a cornmeal circle around the hole. Um, it's all happening at the same time.
What happened to the
Swing.
dog?
Oh, dog. That's right. How many dots does your dog have?
3.
3. Is a train. I keep looking for a die. I keep looking for physical dice.
So he gets 6 on everything that he's trained to do, essentially.
Okay.
Like, he can't do, like, presence plus persuasion rolls, but...
At this
Or
point,
can he?
at this point,
Give
all
me a
you're
treat.
aware of are barks off in the distance
Okay.
that seem to be growing
He's-
closer.
Georgie's a notorious barker. Just doesn't stop, so...
All right. Meanwhile, yeah. So it sounds like Georgie is trying to make his way down here, but you're not quite sure how well he'll be able to do it.
I don't know either.
Considering the situations. The hole pulses. Shelby, I need you to make an opposed roll for me.
Okay.
And
We're doing good.
it is resolve. Resolve and occult. Hey, these Onyx Path dice are rigged. I'm just going to say
Spend a willpower, April.
They don't
Spend a
like me.
willpower.
I rolled 2 successes, and yeah, I did spend a willpower.
it's okay.
I did
I've got nothing
needed
higher
to
than a
have
6,
dice.
so you're fine. As you're watching your friends trying to cover the hole, and your eyes start to cross a little bit, and you get a very strange paranoid feeling, and for a second, you're sure that there was shadow or something kind of moving on Daniel, but then you kind of shake your head and you look and you see that it's Ferdy. And you're like, hey, wow, that was really confusing. You're seeing things.
Okay.
You could have, it was quite possible that you could have shot your friend if you're not careful.
Okay.
There is definitely a presence poking at your mind at this point. That is at the top. Now we come down to Dan.
So, with Ferdinand's assistance, I have 18 dice because I'm spending a willpower.
Holy moly.
So roll 10s and yeah, okay, 11 successes.
Holy cow.
4 10s, 5 9s, 2 8s.
Those artistic defense against the supernatural classes you took.
All those years training under.
All those years training to paint under fire. That stuff it comes out in aces and spades as with preternatural dexterity. Daniel just grabs handfuls of stuff and just very quickly begins smearing it around the hole, doing very quickly but carefully mixing it in with the moss as he goes, and in the blink of an eye, he has described a circle of cornmeal all around this hole. It is amazing. Ferdy, Ferdy's kind of filling in the gaps along the way as you go. There's a couple spots that you leave open, but Ferdy has got your back, and before you know it, the entire dark area, um, the ripple in it just seems to subside, and the hissing and bubbling on the water begins to subside. And then
Danny and Ferdinand.
And then it is quiet, with the exception of the barking dog that is coming closer and closer.
He's a good boy.
He's a good boy. Yeah, still coming. Hasn't broken any bones though, so that's a good thing.
Wow.
There is, however, still a shape on the other side of the hole.
Did it get smaller?
Is it the same shape?
It has reduced. It doesn't seem as threatening. It just stands there. And after a moment, and again, there's that sensation of it looking upon the lot of you. It kind of lets out a chuckle. And it's interesting. I did not expect such efficiency.
I don't think we did either.
This is efficient.
That was efficient. I am not done, but I recognize the obstacle that you have placed before me.
What's your name, friend?
He just looks and says, Chicago. I am unhappy about this situation, and the others will set me free.
I lean over to Danny and try to very subtly ask him if this is the thing that took his sister.
Who's asking that?
I am asking Danny if this is what the thing that he described as what took his sister.
What took your sister, Danny?
Danny doesn't know. We kind of left it a little vague.
Okay.
His aspiration was to find out the monster that took his sister.
Oh. What's your sister's name?
Oh, I didn't even go that far.
He seems like a Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah Air. Yeah, that's good. And he's just like, what? What? How do you know? What? How do you know that?
Who are you asking? How do you know that?
Shelby,
Oh.
because she's the one who's asking.
Y'all
Because
are
he doesn't know.
No, I think you should ask that if that's a thing. No, never mind. Just
Danny's more confused that Shelby knows about his sister disappearing than the question about whether or not this could be the monster that took.
Maybe you told Shelby on a bender.
I know why out of character, but
Okay.
Danny's confused. And then he looks at the monster and he's like, "Did you take my sister?"
It just looks for a moment. Says, I will give you this boon. It pleases me. And it seems like it turns away.
Wait, well, when he does that, I shout, "You just got played by the Academiacs."
Yes!
It turns away. and then comes back and says, "She is not here in the underworld, but she is among the hidden."
I don't like that.
Ooh.
You should know that I have not been stopped, only hindered. Time and again, these boundaries open, and I feed on the chaos that you clots of blood make. My brothers and sisters will set me free. And
What are
even
their names?
you have all that you need to know.
Then I just start jingling the bells.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull out my bells too and just
I'm
Give-
gonna
give
take
me-
the rest of the cornmeal that I have left and throw it through the thing, like at
Wow.
its face.
Strongest possible flex.
So it is actually compelled to answer some questions for you at this point.
Ooh.
And you ask it what their names are?
Yeah.
Do. Um, it begins to ramble at first, again, in all these languages that are unintelligible. But then they settle back down. It says, "I am Chicago. I am the stench of skunks and beetles that consume old flesh and shit. My brother to the
like my
east,
ex-boyfriend.
whom they call High Hat, walks the sky and the trees. My sister to the south, whom you call the Bell Witch, has fed on fear and seeks her freedom. My grandmother, Umtehi, to the west stirs beneath the black hills, fed by filthy waters and poisons unleashed deep below. My grandfather, Wazi, in the icy north, will rise and bring forth a winter like what is not be seen in millions of your reckonings. They come together, and they will free me. I am the swamp. I am the thick mire that swallows the dead. I am the mosquitoes that sip your blood. I am the disease that cleanses. And this world needs cleansing." Time of the council is here, and your world has been made ripe for us.
Yeah, that's legit.
And even now, my servant has risen, and he will go and gather my relatives.
What's his name? Jingle
it-
jingle.
And it just laughs and fades into the darkness.
Dang it. Everybody get that?
I mean,
Can we
I'm
get
pretty
that
mad
down?
about the Black Hills too, so I can't blame him.
I mean, there's a lot of shit.
That's a lot of monsters. He has a lot of siblings.
He's
He
got a
did
lot
not
of
name
siblings.
a zenith. He only named 5.
Mm-hmm. He did.
He did not name all 7 directions to go off of.
He named 4 in the center.
Would he also be one of those? Like, not including himself?
Possibly, if you included himself, he might be the center if the others are all around him.
I have a thought.
Yeah.
What's your thought?
I'm happy to discuss this or like live in the library or whatever outside of this stinking place.
Yeah, can we get out?
But also,
Can we leave?
my thought is we should mix up some concrete with cornmeal and come back down here and finish this off.
I think
Legit.
that's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
Well, let's do that and maybe talk more about this where it doesn't smell so bad.
I
So-
agree.
As you're saying that, Georgie is finally making his way down the slippery stairs,
I
Oh,
am
good
not
boy.
helping
barely
you.
keeping his head above all this gunk.
I'm
Come on
not
over here.
helping you carry that
Come on
down
over here.
ladders.
I can carry this dog. I've done it before. I've Had a broken arm, I can do it up a ladder.
He's gonna need a bath after this.
I think it's not just him.
I mean,
So, I'm
I
not
go back
even
to-
I'm not
Oh.
even going to require you all to make a bunch of rolls now that the major threat is over. It takes some effort, and a little bit of climbing and whatnot, but you manage to make your way back upstairs. It's when you get back up into um, the townhome that who was it that talked with the coroner?
that was Leo, wasn't it?
No, I talked with the head
It
clerk.
was
Okay.
it was me and like when we initially went to investigate the body.
Right.
It was me and Ferdy, and Danny was there and looking quite upset.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the three of you, your phones apparently you've been out of service for a while, but your phones are there's a ton of messages.
Okay, I
We
checked
should
my
have burned the
phone.
body.
Yeah.
It's they're from an unknown number initially. Eventually, some of them are from the coroner's office itself. And then there's a one simple text message that you've all have gotten, and that is that John Hart's body is missing.
We should have burned it.
Fervent.
Yeah. Shit.
We should have
Oh,
burned
that's
it
what we
earlier.
were planning on doing.
We
were
never
gonna-
got around to it.
Well, no, it's not that. We were gonna let the family have their services before we dealt with that.
Do you think he is the servant he was talking about?
Yeah, that's my guess.
Not a it's more than a 0% chance.
How much more, Leo? What's the calculation on that?
I ain't 100% sure on it, but it's definitely not 0. Like
That's a lot of percentages.
that guy got some stuff in your eye.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Does anyone actually check in with the coroner?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I will as well.
So
Actually, Furry doesn't do it. Shelby should do it because
Okay.
Shelby's the other medic.
So when you do give him a call, Shelby, what he's able to confer to you is that it looks like someone broke in or broke out and
Yeah.
stole the body.
Okay. I will let him know that I am busy at the moment, but I'll swing on by to see if I can help or anything.
Okay. And that is an investigation for another time.
Yes.
So we actually have gone overtime.
Yep.
What's the finale? It's like a normal finale kind of thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a super.
This was a good finale.
Yeah, it was.
This was a
So-
lot of fun.
You had some resolution, but you also got some new information out of this. So real quick, James, would you be willing to kind of give us a rundown of beats?
Oh yeah, I wasn't sure if we had enough time.
I don't, well, just the 10,000-foot view.
Okay, so I was nominated to give a quick rundown on the beat system, which is how the Chronicles of Darkness Second Edition does experience points. So basically, I think as a group, we all kind of decided that group beats was the best. We're just going to pull them all and split them, which is one of the ways to do it. But basically, what happens is that during a gaming session, you can, in certain points in time, you can earn what is called a beat. Every 5 beats equals 1 experience point. And some of the beats that we've been trying to track, we're going to go back through a couple of the old episodes in between games and look, because we haven't been actively tracking them.
Right.
Is like if you get a dramatic failure as a beat. At the end of the session, everyone who attended accumulates 1 beat. So it's 1 beat per player, basically. Some of the there isn't a lot of information in the preview documents that we got for how beats work with Hunter. There are some. So we kind of looked at
the Chronicles of Darkness book and Mortal Remains, which was the previous second edition Hunter stuff. So for every exceptional success when going against a monster, so like when Shelby shot it with a shotgun and got 5 successes, that would
What
be a
about when
beat.
I got 12?
That as well. Any it is when you're like dealing with a monster. So every dramatic failure, every exceptional success, every time you succeed, if you get a willpower, or if you risk a willpower, which is I think every time. But if you fail when you risk a willpower, you actually get 2 because it's a dramatic failure
Oh, cool.
automatically, and you fail to risk the willpower, so that's 2. And then there are a lot of other things that hunters can do to get beats, like defeating a monster. But it could be like defeating a monster temporarily or making sure the monster never comes back is worth even more beats. And then there are a couple other things like resolving aspirations and conditions, which we haven't really played with conditions
Mm-hmm.
in Uptown Shadows yet. But that's just a very quick rundown. As a group, we've been talking about it offline, obviously, and we're gonna try to tally them up eventually.
Yeah. So
We're choosing vices
we
too.
won't tally tonight, but if we opt to continue this, then we will tally and maybe make that part of the first session as we go into whatever the next story is. Um, but in the meantime, thank you to everybody who's participated. It's been fun playing with everyone. Hopefully, people had a good time.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
Love you all, 3,000.
Um, this has been Uptown Shadows, a short story taking place in the Hunter the Vigil. And I want to just get each of my players to go around and reintroduce themselves, their pronouns, and where they can be found on the internet before we sign off. And we'll start as we did before with James.
Hi, I'm James Foster. You can find me on Twitter at UmbraVenetier and with the Mind's Eye Society at www.mindseyesociety.org. My pronouns are he, him. Come check us out if you're looking for online LARPs or, eventually actual live action LARPs. We do World of Darkness and Chronicles of Darkness all over the US and in Canada and a couple other places. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they're a different group, but they're connected to us. So
Gabriel.
I have been Gabriel de Los Angeles. He, him pronouns. I study LARP and role playing games and think about game designs pretty critically. You can find me on academia.edu under my full name, Gabriel de Los Angeles. You can email me at gabe.delosangeles@gmail.com. And I guess you can find me on Facebook, but I probably won't accept a friend request without a real good justification.
Cool. Thank you. April.
Hi, I'm April Songer, she, her pronouns, and I am basically only on Facebook, and you should probably preface as to why you're adding me, or else I will not add. I'm sorry, it's election year. But I'm a student, so nothing exciting besides accounting.
Cool. JF Sombrano.
I'm JF. He, they. You can find me mostly on on Patreon at JF Sombrano, or on Facebook under the same. Unlike the others, I'll add you. I just won't have mercy if you're a problem.
Awesome. Amber.
Hi, I'm Amber Lynn. You can find me as the Rebel Selkie on Twitter. I will add almost anyone, but just as quickly smite you off the face of my friends list if you are problematic. Yeah, I use she, her pronouns. And this was a lot of fun. You guys were amazing.
Awesome.
yes,
Thank you.
I love
was
this
great.
group.
And
This group's great.
I'm Alan Turner, he, him
Interesting.
pronouns. And we've been playing Hunter the Vigil, but we're using a mixture of the Chronicles of Darkness book and some of the Hunter the Vigil Kickstarter stuff. So we don't actually have the full book in front of us yet. So there are a lot of things that we kind of have to do on the fly until we get all the new rules for the game. But hopefully over time we will get more of those rules, and we'll be able to show them off to you all here, and have a great time in the process. Thank you for being an awesome audience, and hopefully we'll see you all soon in the near future.
Stay healthy, everyone.
Stay healthy. Be well.
Wash your
Wash your
hands.
Wash your
hands.
hands.
Wash your hands.
Wash.
Don't be a creeper.
Don't be a creeper. Wash your
Your
hands.
hands.